origin of this episode was there was an article that came out and said Austin was one of the next quantum hotspots.
Yeah.
First, let's break through, hype versus reality. How much is that true today, or was this at the end of like 5 if statements?
No, look, I think it's an accurate statement. And I think the reason it's accurate is because I go back to this initial premise, is that if the lens was, what are the great research epicenters in the world for quantum? Austin would not be on the list. Nothing in Texas would be on the list. And it has nothing to do with the choices that were made. The traditional epicenters of quantum research have been tightly tied to the nuclear complex in the United States and globally. Right? To build nuclear weapons, you need the brightest physicists worrying about quantum physics to build nuclear weapons. And so those tend to have been historically where you have the greatest density of folks working on these issues. And you had most of the funding. It was national research funding. Again, every university's got some quantum research thing, but the scale was around really the national lab infrastructure. That's fine. That era is important, and we need to continue to invest in scaling that. But where we're not investing is scaling the commercialization. And this is where Austin in particular, I think, is so uniquely positioned, and Texas is so uniquely positioned in the United States because it has the ecosystem. That's first point, right? You've got all the semiconductor investment, all the infrastructure investment that we see going on around here, all the learning how to make, electric vehicles, the learning around that collective knowledge is important for critical mass to tackle these hard problems. Part of it is tactical knowledge of I understand physics. Part of it is the DNA. DNA is important to this. This is the infamous crossing the chasm problem. The reason most things never cross the chasm is most people argue, well, the company's not been capitalized the right way. I'd argue that that's part of the problem. I think the biggest problem of why companies don't cross the chasm is they can't change their DNA. It's a very different world to get out of bed every morning and get excited and like, I'm going to go do some research and publish a paper and get recognized by my peers to do that. It's a very different world to say, I'm getting out of bed and I'm getting excited and I'm going to make 1,000 or 10,000, 100,000 of something, all of the same. If I'm a researcher, that's pretty damn boring, right? But the DNA of people that understand and relish doing that, that is Austin, that is Texas. The first semiconductor fabs in this country were built in the greater Austin area. They solved the hard problems. And so I think my view is that the reason that you saw that on the list is people are starting to recognize that you need to be in areas that relish and run towards these hard problems to solve these industrial manufacturing issues. And again, that's the reason I'm here, is that this is an easy place to do this. And it's an easy place to attract the talent that's not here that wants to do it.